Mrs. Brooks here. Hi, guys. Let's talk about portraits today. Portraits are just a representation of a person, animal, or a group in which the faces are the main theme of the work. When you think of like some of the most famous paintings, just think of them in your head, shout them out if you want. Let's talk about the top three. Top three: Mona Lisa, of course. Leonardo da Vinci painted Mona Lisa. She's famous and so coy. Girl with a pearl earring is Johannes Vermeer, also just a famous painting. And then Andy Warhol did a Marilyn Monroe portrait, this like pop art style, which you probably have seen before. Another notable mention, I think, is American Gothic that by Grant Wood. This one, as well as Mona Lisa, has just been done over and over again, redone, and that's how you know it's really famous because everybody copies it and makes it into their own. Kind of cool. I want to talk about an artist, Hussam Khalid. He is an artist from Iraq. He uses charcoal and like chalk pastel on these like painted like wooden panels, and it's a really minimalist hyper realism kind of style, and it's pretty impressive and amazing. He's come a really long way, which could be you. If you look on this picture on the right here, this March 2014, he like this is what he was doing, which that's not bad. Like that's nothing to shake a stick at. And then March 2017, just a couple short years later, he's doing these like super amazing, like incredible, almost unrealistic, almost unreal, like photograph almost style works. So cool. So when you think of portraits, you probably think traditionally of, just realism looking pencil portraits, maybe colored pencil. And that's really cool. There's also some really amazing, like hyper realism works that are just incredible that look like photographs, but really that's just somebody with a pencil and a blending stump, and probably a little bit of a brush, maybe, doing these. They're amazing. But they don't have to be that. They could be whatever you want them to be, as long as it's got the face in there, right? So this can be made out of words. This is a project we've done in school before. If you want to do this, great. It's really fun. It could be a quote or a song. This is a portrait using layered, like cut stencils and spray paint to paint this, or to paint layers and layers on this like cute kid. This is a cartoon version of a portrait. So if you wanted to do something like that would be cool. You can take these into a photograph of yourself or somebody famous, and use a photo manipulating website and look and see what that is, and and use an app or a um, filter, that's the kid stuff, teenager stuff, filters and stuff. So you could do that and create something like that, or you could just create your own cartoon version of yourself or somebody else. um, Another thing that people think is kind of fun sometimes is caricatures. So these are famous people that you probably recognize, but they are like out of proportion, like a really focus on something that's a specific feature that they exaggerate. So it's like an exaggerated part of somebody's face or something about them. You could do collage portraits. Those are really, 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 really cool. I love collage, so I think that this is awesome. You can just tear up pieces of colored magazine, like this one in this picture here, and just put that in there and place it in a way that you're like capturing the shadow shapes and the highlights and the things, and then you got a portrait. Very cool. Or other like newspapers and maps and magazines and pictures, and very cool. This is like stuff. I think looks like it's like a guy right here, and like a Q-tip and a zebra that's all painted white, and buttons and beans and beads and all kinds of cool stuff. That's awesome. The other creative portraits, these are just some examples where this is kind of like a line drawing, but it's just like a little extra, a little like some of these like lined graphic-y spots on it. It's pretty cool. This is like a fun squashed face, also cool. Here's kind of a portrait of like these like again a graphic-y style representation with some like realistic looking kind of coloring in there, but then also some like random colors in there. Very cool. There's some other ones. Like I think it's kind of interesting an idea of doing like a partial portraits where like partially they are done, and then there's like some elements that kind of go off the page. They don't look super refined, but there's still unity and little really cool things happening in these. So that's a cool idea too. Here are some of animals. Everybody likes animals. Well, not everybody, but the people who like them really like them. And then there's high school. This is a high school student artwork from a high school that I gather some information and talk to the teacher about. This is this portrait of this self-portrait of this guy, but he really likes these, like, this is what he draws, these comics and these cartoons and things like that. And he just puts that in there in the spots of it that make up his face. So you could do something like that. There is some Festus High School student artwork that is pretty awesome. Word portraits and realism looking portraits and that like filtered realism looking there. And then this is like a blind contour portrait. We did that in class. So fun. And then he just added some value to it. And I love this portrait. It's one of my favorites of all time for my students. And then here's some more that are really cool. One thing to think about too when you're deciding what kind of portrait to do is like the style of what you want to create, but also like how you want to show that. Do you want to crop it really small and just get like a small portion of the face where you're zoomed in really close and it's cropped like this? Or do you want to do like these forced perspective drawings are kind of cool. Side profiles. It doesn't always have to be just like a straight on shot. Sometimes the best ones are a little bit more interesting. So happy creating, and I can't wait to see your portraits.